Okay, well, I'm Tori Colson. I'm from Teacher Education, and the course I developed was Educational Leadership 732, which is going to be in the Doctorate of Education. We are starting that program, still in the final process of that, working on HLC right now. So it's not an approved program yet, but we hope to start offering classes in the summer of 18. But that's sort of where I am with that. Let me share my screen with you so you can see my class. Okay, can you see that?
It's a blank screen.
It's a blank screen.
It's a black screen.
Okay. Yeah.
There it is.
There you go. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to kind of do this just a hair bit backwards because I've developed online courses before, so that wasn't anything new with that. I did have a challenge with this one, and that would be that this course has never been taught. So that was a very tough thing to kind of think backwards when I really didn't know the content that well of exactly how I would teach this course, not having taught it face-to-face or any version of this, because these are all brand new courses. But with that being said, I tried to do this as generic as possible. I think I will be teaching this course, but that is not, it's set in stone. Of course, the program hasn't been approved yet. So you'll see there's some things in here. It's like, well, why didn't you add this or this? But that may be kind of come later after we know who's teaching the course. That way it's a little generic. So anybody could pick this course up and kind of go with it. But of course have the, the main Start Here page, kind of go through step by step on how to start the course, what you need to do, those kinds of things. I do think the population that will be using this course may have not taken online courses, so I thought that was very important because these are going to be non-traditional students. They're probably going to be teachers and principals, things like that, that'll be doing this on weekends, maybe planning periods, those kinds of things. But they may not be versed in an online course. So I did think that was very important to make sure we did kind of step by step how to do an online course, especially at the doctorate level. As you go through, I set up my content within weekly modules, and they all look the same, so that familiarity with it as they're going through. I think probably one of the things that I like the most about this, I'm just going to click on a week here. I really like how I set up this part here where it gives you the objectives, the assignments, and then the purpose. I think that's a real checkoff list, and me being a teacher myself, I think other teachers will appreciate, oh, okay, check, 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 I kind of got this, this is what I have to do. I also added in here draft review for papers, because this class, there's not going to be any quizzes or tests. It is a doctorate level course. So a lot of things will come through weekly discussions, and the weekly discussions will come through their reading. This is a heavy reading course. I mean, we're going through 2 different textbooks in a 7-week period. Oh, and this is a 7-week class too. So there's 2 textbooks that have to be read, plus several articles that are related to curriculum and using the community as well. But I did put in there some draft for their papers where they can have a peer review. So that'll kind of they might have a partner each week that can kind of review their papers before they're submitted. There's pretty much a paper almost every week that has to be turned in leading up to the final paper. They do have a group paper. So I actually was able to use the group function in Blackboard, and they will be able to self-select groups based on their content level or grade level that they're interested in. They're going to be developing a unit plan with this, and so like I said, I let them self-select, but I was able to use the group, so that was kind of nice. It's another way to interact. And then they also have a group project with it still being online. Let's see what else is some kind of cool stuff in here. Oh, here's just their peer review discussion board. So you can see there's 3 peer-reviewed drafts that they'll be turning in for their paper 1, their paper 2, and then they also get to do a draft for their key assignment. Now their group paper, I didn't have them do a peer review because they're actually reviewing each other as they're working on the group. But it's quite a lengthy unit plan, so I didn't think another group would want to necessarily review another group's unit plan. But I do have those set in here. I also have another tab that I call the useful resources. I put in here APA, so a lot of information on how to use Google Scholar. There's lots of little videos and other resources here for APA. And as you know, that's very important at the doctorate level that they're using that correctly. But this also takes into account that maybe, and I'm not 100% sure on the sequence of course yet. So this may be one of the first courses they take in the doctorate. It may not be. It'll be pretty close to the front end. So this may be a nice review or introduction. Some may not even have had APA at this point. And my good friend Timberly let me borrow a MLA versus APA so they can kind of see the difference between the two to not get those confused. And then another good link I have in here, I also put just a tab that also, I have put the alignment chart here between the assessment and the objectives so they actually can go there and see. But then I also included all the assignment directions again. They're within each of the assignments, but then there's also just a tab here that says, okay, here's all your assignments and here's all your rubrics again. It's also within each weekly module, but then they also have it here as well. And that's really about it. Like I said, because we're at 7 weeks, so it's a pretty quick. Let me show you one of the discussion questions, kind of how I have it set up. We're going to be using VoiceThread to do their weekly discussions. So I have directions within that VoiceThread, and this model looks the same for each one. The only thing that changes are the questions each week. And so they have, this is kind of a reflection piece. This is the last week, but then they're just, like I said, just questions. And these aren't yes or no. So I'm hoping this will spark discussion because I hope that we'll have a variety of folks that are in our cohort, so they should be able to feed off of each other and give different perspectives based on their background and maybe even what position and where they're working at. But they usually have, there's 4 or 5 topic questions for each week. And a lot of this does come from the reading, and then also to spark outside discussion besides what what you've read. Like, what do you know based on this information? Well, that's kind of my brief little, like I said, they're pretty much the same each week. And then I do have the required readings. I did go ahead and get all the articles and actually post them in here instead of having the students find them, because we actually had to do interlibrary loan for me to get some of these. And if a student waits till that week, well, it may take 3 or 4 days. Well, then, that week's almost over at that point, and they may not have time to turn around and read and do all their assignments. So I actually have all of them already downloaded and posted on here for students.